What's up, movie lovers? Today I'm diving deep into one of Netflix's most bone-chilling releases that'll literally give you goosebumps. We're talking about The Deceased, an Indonesian horror masterpiece that's based on true events, folks. And trust me, after watching this film, you'll never look at ancient rituals the same way again. This movie doesn't just scare you with jump scares. Oh no, it gets under your skin with real cultural practices that are still performed today in Indonesian culture. So buckle up, because we're about to unpack a story that blends supernatural horror with family tragedy in the most terrifying way possible. But before we jump into this nightmare, if you're a fan of horror breakdowns like this, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more spine-tingling content. Picture this. The movie opens with what looks like a medieval torture scene, but it's actually a sacred ritual. Two people, a young man and woman, are buried alive in the ground, with only their heads sticking out above the surface. It's like something straight out of your worst nightmare, right? There's this mysterious woman performing some kind of ancient ceremony around them, chanting in a language that sounds both beautiful and terrifying. The camera work here is absolutely phenomenal. You can feel the weight of tradition and desperation in every frame. But just when you think you're about to understand what's happening, bam! The scene cuts away, leaving you with more questions than answers. Classic horror movie setup, and it works perfectly. Now we're thrown 6 days into the past, and we meet our main family. Let me introduce you to Mr. Morwanto, but everyone calls him Mr. Mule. This guy is basically the Jeff Bezos of this Indonesian village. He owns massive amounts of farmland, and here's the kicker. His crops grow like they're on steroids compared to everyone else's farms. People are constantly asking him, "Dude, what's your secret?" But Mr. Mule keeps his lips sealed tighter than Fort Knox. Very suspicious, if you ask me. He's got a brother named Suyono who works on his farm. Classic family business setup. But as we'll learn later, family loyalty only goes so far when greed enters the picture. Mr. Mule has 3 kids, and each one represents a different path in life. First, there's Yanda, the youngest son who's got zero interest in hitting the books. This kid wants to stay home, work the family farm, and carry on the agricultural legacy. But his dad, he's got bigger dreams, wanting Yanda to become some kind of military commander. Talk about generational clash. Then we've got Nuri, the daughter who's about to graduate and become an engineer. She's the responsible one, the achiever. And finally, there's Sessa, the oldest son, who's already made it big as a doctor. He's the golden child, the one who got out and made something of himself in the modern world. There's also Ajeng, Suyono's daughter and Mr. Mule's niece. She basically runs the household, doing all the domestic work. Keep this girl in mind, because she becomes crucial to our story later. So Mr. Mule comes home one evening, has this heart-to-heart with Yanda about his future, and then goes to chat with his wife, Ibu. She's the voice of reason, telling him not to force their son into a path he doesn't want. But here's where things get creepy. Mr. Mule pours himself a cup of coffee, takes a sip, and immediately something goes wrong. His body starts reacting like he's been poisoned or cursed. Ibu helps him, but you can see the worry in her eyes. This isn't just a random illness, folks. This is foreshadowing at its finest. The next day happens to be what they call Kliwon Tuesday. And if you think Friday the 13th is bad, wait until you hear about this day. In Javanese culture, Kliwon Tuesday is considered one of the most unlucky days possible. It's like the universe's way of saying, hey, maybe don't do anything important today. Mr. Mule decides to take a shower, and here's where Final Destination Destination vibes kick in hard. He turns on the water, but there's construction happening upstairs. The electrical system goes haywire, and suddenly the shower water becomes a conductor for electricity. Our poor Mr. Mule, completely unaware, steps into what's basically an electric chair disguised as a shower. Zap! He's dead instantly, and just like that, this happy family's world comes crashing down. Now here's where the cultural horror really kicks in. According to Javanese beliefs, when someone dies on Kliwon Tuesday, their spirit doesn't go peacefully. Instead, it hangs around and tries to take their loved ones with them to the afterlife. It's like death becomes contagious within the family. The village head, Mr. Mule's old friend, comes to the family with urgent news. He tells them they must perform a specific ritual called breaking the plates. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. This ritual requires all family members to walk from the house to the cemetery, smashing plates along the entire route while scattering flowers and coins. It's their only protection against the deceased family member's spirit. Here's where the family splits. Sessa, being a doctor and man of science, thinks this is all complete superstitious nonsense. He's like, come on people, it's 2023. We don't believe in ghosts and curses. But Nuri and Yanda, they're terrified. They've grown up with these stories, and they can feel something dark approaching. During the funeral procession, Ibu is so devastated that she can barely stand. Sessa has to support her, which means only Nuri and Yanda perform the plate-breaking ritual. Remember this detail. It becomes crucial later. On the first night after the burial, Islamic prayers are being recited throughout the house, standard morning practice. But Ibu starts hearing her husband's voice calling to her from beyond the grave. Picture this. You're grieving the loss of your soulmate, and suddenly you hear their voice in the darkness, begging you to join them. That's psychological horror at its most devastating. Ibu breaks down completely, begging her deceased husband to take her with him. Nuri has to physically restrain her mother from doing something dangerous. Things start getting weird fast. Photos fall off walls for no reason. Nuri hears strange noises from the bathroom, but it gets worse. She starts seeing figures wrapped in funeral shrouds lurking in the shadows. These aren't friendly family visits from beyond. These are malevolent entities with sinister intentions. On the second day, they find Ibu sleeping in the middle of the road. Not on the sidewalk, not in her bed, literally lying in the street where cars could have killed her. It's like she was sleepwalking toward death itself. The village head keeps warning them about the supernatural danger, but Sessa refuses to listen. He keeps insisting his mother is just suffering from depression and grief. But here's the thing. When was the last time depression made someone predict they were going to die and take their daughter with them? Because that's exactly what Ibu tells Nuri. Chilling stuff. On the third night, Ibu is in her room praying when the construction work upstairs causes the ceiling fan to become unstable. She tries to turn it off, but the switch isn't working. Then, in a scene that's pure Final Destination energy, the fan breaks loose and falls directly onto her face. The spinning blades essentially decapitate her instantly. It's brutal, it's shocking, and it's exactly what she predicted would happen. Now, these kids have lost both parents in the span of 3 days. The supernatural threat is real, and it's picking them off one by one. With 2 family members dead, even the skeptical Yanda realizes they need help. The village head gives him an address for a shaman, someone who might be able to break whatever curse has fallen on their family. But they decide not to tell Sessa because they know he'll try to stop them. Smart move, considering what happens next. Sessa starts experiencing the same symptoms his mother had. Sudden chills, hearing voices of the deceased, and feeling like something is watching him. Remember, he's a medical doctor, so he knows this isn't normal illness. He finds mysterious black magic bundles hidden under his bed, little cloth packages filled with cemetery dirt and other dark ingredients. This is when reality hits him like a freight train. They're not dealing with grief or depression. They're dealing with a supernatural curse. Sisa starts seeing apparitions of his dead parents, leading him deeper and deeper into the forest. It's like they're calling him to join them, and against all logic, he follows. But this isn't a heartwarming family reunion. His foot gets caught in a bear trap, a massive steel contraption that nearly severs his leg. He's trapped, bleeding, and surrounded by the spirits of his dead family members. A pickup truck driver helps Sisa get to a medical clinic, but when he arrives, the place is completely empty. He lies down on a stretcher, expecting help, but instead, the spirits of his parents begin wheeling him away. He wakes up in the morgue, the last place any living person wants to find themselves. And here's where the movie goes full supernatural. Every dead body in the morgue starts coming back to life, reaching for him with rotting hands. Sisa tries to run, but slips and falls onto a sharp object that pierces his skull. Death number 3, and the pattern is becoming clear. With 3 family members dead, Nuri and Yanda finally visit the shaman, Maba Suma, and this is where the movie's biggest twist gets revealed. The shaman explains that their family wasn't killed by Mr. Mule's restless spirit. They were cursed. Someone performed black magic to send death itself after their entire family line. Those mysterious bundles they found, they contained cemetery dirt and were placed under each family member's bed by someone with access to their home. The spirits they saw weren't their dead relatives. It was death wearing their faces, psychologically tormenting them before striking to save the remaining family members. The shaman performs the Tapa Padam ritual, the same one we saw at the beginning of the movie. Nuri and Yanda are buried alive with only their heads above ground, experiencing a symbolic death and rebirth. It's terrifying to watch, but it's their only chance of survival. The ritual works by sending death back to whoever originally cast the curse, and that's when we learn the shocking truth about who's behind everything. Death goes straight to Suyono, Mr. Mule's own brother. That's right, this was family betrayal at its most devastating level. Here's the backstory that'll make your blood boil. Years ago, Suyono's wife died in an accident, leaving him with young Ajeng to raise alone. Mr. Mule offered to help his brother, promising to send Ajeng to college and support their farming business. But instead of helping, Mr. Mule gradually stole all of Suyono's land, had him declared mentally unfit, and turned Ajeng into basically a servant in his own house. Instead of college, she was doing household chores. Instead of partnership, there was exploitation. When Suyono discovered his brother's betrayal, he turned to the darkest form of revenge possible, black magic. He created cursed bundles for each family member and had Ajeng place them under their beds. Yes, Ajeng was in on it, the sweet, innocent niece actually helping her father murder own cousins. Talk about a plot twist that hits you like a truck. The ritual Suyono used involved cemetery dirt and death magic, essentially putting a supernatural hit out on the entire family. And it worked perfectly, picking them off one by one through what appeared to be accidents. But when the shaman's counter ritual activates, death returns to its sender. Suyono gets a face full of acid in a gruesome death scene that's both satisfying and horrifying. Then it's Ajeng's turn. A horse drags her into the forest where a sharp tree branch impales her. The curse has come full circle, destroying both families involved in this tragedy. In the end, only Nuri and Yanda survive. They visit their family's graves, trying to process the incredible trauma they've endured. Nuri decides to stay in the village and help the community, while Yanda finally has the chance to work the family farm like he always wanted. But they're left wondering, were they saved by the plate-breaking ritual they performed earlier, or by the shaman's burial ceremony? The movie leaves this beautifully ambiguous. But wait, there's a mid-credit scene that changes everything. The village head visits Maba Suma, and they're both laughing and celebrating like they just pulled off the heist of the century. This suggests that the village head orchestrated the entire tragedy. Think about it. He knew about the family tensions. He had access to information about black magic, and he stood to gain from both families destroying each other. With the Mowanto family dead and Suyono's family eliminated, guess who gets to claim all that valuable farmland? That's right. The village head played everyone against each other and walked away with the prize. Now, let me blow your mind with some real-world context. The Tapa Padam ritual shown in this movie, it's absolutely real. In Javanese culture, people actually bury themselves alive with just a breathing tube for spiritual purification, protection, and to gain supernatural powers. It's considered a form of extreme meditation and spiritual rebirth. The fact the deceased is absolutely brilliant because it doesn't rely on cheap scares or gore. Instead, it builds dread through cultural authenticity, family dynamics, and the terrifying possibility that ancient curses might actually be real. The movie respects Indonesian culture while delivering genuine horror that transcends cultural boundaries. Whether you believe in supernatural curses or not, the emotional journey of this family's destruction is universally terrifying. So there you have it, The Deceased in all its horrifying glory. This movie proves that the best horror comes from real cultural traditions and genuine human emotions, not just special effects and jump scares. What did you think of this breakdown? Did the village head's betrayal shock you as much as it shocked me? And would you be brave enough to undergo the Tapa Padam ritual if your life depended on it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Indonesian horror, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more international horror breakdowns. Trust me, there's a whole world of terrifying cinema out there that deserves your attention. Until next time, sweet dreams, and maybe avoid taking showers during thunderstorms just to be safe.